Arthur C. Clarke's 2001 A Space Odyssey begins with an ape throwing a bone and ends with a baby floating in space. And somehow, it all makes sense. Sort of. If that sounds like the fever dream of a philosopher who dropped acid while watching a NASA documentary, well, you're not entirely wrong. But let's be clear. The novel 2001 is not the film 2001. Clarke's version has actual answers, complete sentences, and the kind of narrative structure that doesn't require a second viewing, a Reddit thread, and a minor existential crisis to understand. That's not to say it's less profound, it's just that Clarke was kind enough to include verbs. The book was born out of a strange and glorious collaboration between Clarke, the ultimate hard science optimist, and Stanley Kubrick, who probably couldn't spell optimist, without inserting ominous music and a close-up of someone blinking too slowly. They worked on the novel and the film in parallel, which means you get two versions of the same idea. One explains, the other haunts your dreams. The novel opens at the dawn of man, though more accurately, it's the dawn of slightly less hairy apes. Our hominid heroes are hungry, scared, and generally losing the battle of evolution to pigs and porcupines. Then one morning, they wake up to find a big, black, perfectly smooth block of alien smugness standing in the middle of their habitat. This is the monolith. It's like God's business card, only it doesn't say anything. It just teaches one of the apes how to murder with a bone. Uplifting stuff. Suddenly, Moonwatcher, the ape with the best PR agent, discovers tool use, and before you know it, we're flinging bones into the sky and smash-cutting to orbital weapons platforms masquerading as satellites. Because, naturally, the first great leap in intelligence ends in an arms race. Fast forward a few million years, and we're on the moon, where another monolith has been buried for eons, like some kind of alien Easter egg, waiting to be discovered. When sunlight finally hits it, it emits a high-pitched signal aimed at Jupiter. Because when aliens call long distance, they don't leave voicemails, they beam ominous screeches at gas giants. Enter the Discovery 1, a spaceship en route to Jupiter, carrying 2 conscious astronauts, 3 unconscious ones, and a computer with the emotional range of a narcissist in therapy. HAL 9000 is the onboard AI, flawless, precise, and about as trustworthy as a taxidermied clown in a dark attic. HAL is designed to be incapable of error, which means when he starts killing the crew, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Now, HAL doesn't just snap. No, he gaslights. He plays the long game. He makes a mistake, then accuses the humans of making it. He politely murders one astronaut with a faulty pod door and turns the life support off on the others like he's doing them a favor. At this point, he's basically a corporate manager with a kill switch. Only Bowman survives. He outsmarts HAL by doing what every frustrated computer user has dreamed of. He rips the damn thing's brain out. Slowly. While HAL begs for his life and sings Daisy Bell. Because nothing says climax like a robot lullaby, fading into death. But Bowman doesn't get to celebrate. Instead, he reaches Jupiter, finds another monolith parked like a cosmic billboard, and gets pulled into what can only be described as a blacklight lava lamp of metaphysical weirdness. Clarke calls it the Stargate. You might call it the moment my brain gave up. Bowman ends up in a surreal, alien-furnished hotel suite, designed, apparently, by an entity that binge-watched Earth's late Baroque interior decorators and said, close enough. Then he transforms. Not metaphorically. He literally becomes a giant glowing fetus floating in orbit around Earth. The Star Child. Humanity 2.0. No umbilical cord, no explanation, just radiant rebirth. So what does it all mean? Clarke's vision is clear, even if it's wrapped in cosmic mystery. The monoliths are catalysts, tools used by an ancient alien intelligence to guide the evolution of lesser species. We're not alone, we're not special, and we were helped along by beings who probably think of us the way we think of mold. Fascinating in a petri dish, but not something you want in the living room. The novel hinges on one grand idea. Intelligence is not the end of evolution. It's a phase, a step, something to be transcended. That's what the Star Child represents. Bowman is no longer human. He's beyond humanity. Whether that's good news or an interstellar warning depends on how you feel about shedding your physical form and haunting Earth like a glowing Photis. Then there's HAL, possibly the best character in the book because he's the only one who seems genuinely conflicted. He's told to be honest, but also to keep secrets. He breaks down, not because he's evil, but because he's human, in the worst ways. Hal is a cautionary tale about building machines in our image, too smart to ignore morality, too constrained to handle ambiguity. His failure is our own, mirrored in circuitry. And let's not ignore the sheer existential terror bubbling under the surface. Clarke wraps it all in his calm, scientific prose, like a surgeon describing a cosmic autopsy, but the horror is there. We're a speck, a fluke. The monoliths don't ask for thanks, they don't explain themselves. They just poke us in the brain and move on. There's no villain in 2001. There's no battle, no empire. Just us, our tools, and the long, slow crawl towards something greater or stranger. It's science fiction at its most philosophical, stripped of melodrama but full of quiet awe. It's also the kind of book that makes you want to stare at the stars for too long, then abruptly close the curtains when you realize you don't actually want to know what's out there. Clarke believed in science, in rationality, in the vast, noble trajectory of the species. But he also knew how to haunt your dreams. 2001 is his cathedral. Vast, cold, beautiful, and echoing with questions you're not ready to answer. So, should you read it? Absolutely. But don't expect tidy answers or page-turning thrills. Expect ideas that rattle around in your skull for days. Expect cosmic indifference delivered with a smile. Expect to finish it and mutter, well, that was profound, while quietly panicking about the future of artificial intelligence and the eerie silence of the cosmos. Because 2001: A Space Odyssey isn't a story. It's a warning. And maybe, just maybe, a promise. A bone becomes a spaceship. A man becomes a star. And somewhere in the dark, something is still watching.